Hey guys, welcome back to the Bike Builds bonus series. This week, I'm excited to share with you my process for cleaning a motorcycle. There are 100 different ways you can go about washing a motorcycle, and while only very few of them are wrong, I think that the cleaning process is so important because it's one of the only ways you can actively inspect your bike after each ride without whipping out all of the tools for a full inspection. So here we go, and please comment below with any questions. In this specific case, dirt bike wise, usually one of the things that you're dealing with the most is the fact that there's going to be mud and dirt on it in some degree. And then you're also going to have your lubricants and oils that come from your airbox, that come from your chain, and come from your exhaust. The first thing that I do before I even get started with washing the bike is set out all the cleaners and supplies that I'm going to need for the task at hand. It's always better to have everything prepared, ready to rock and roll before starting the job, so you're not running around looking for things while you're halfway through the job. I highly recommend setting up a center stand so you can have the motorcycle's wheels able to spin. It really makes a big difference in the time we'll spend washing if you can spin the wheels while you're washing it versus having to push it around to accomplish that. It definitely is a time saver to get the whole thing wet and let it sit. Sometimes you'll end up saving more time than you'll waste by waiting just by letting the water work for you. While you're letting the motorcycle soak, there's different parts of the motorcycle that need different cleaners. First and foremost, the thing that usually takes the most effort is the grease. As the bike's dripping down from its soak, you're going to want to chase it with some degreaser. Mud and dirt, for the most part, you can pressure wash away with a simple brush, but the grease and grime takes a little extra effort. In most cleaning situations, I'm able to use a 50-50 mix of simple green to get the job done. When I run into some tougher grease and grime, I break out the Purple Power. Neither of these are products of affiliation, but they've just been what's worked throughout the years in the shop. So the thing about soaking time, if you spray a bike with water and spray it with a degreaser, the way that it works is if you just start chasing it with a brush right afterward, you're just wasting time. A lot of that stuff is designed to sit and emulsify or sit and actually lift the oil off the surfaces. So the difference between spraying the bike down with degreaser and instantly washing it or spraying the bike down with degreaser and waiting a simple 1 or 2 minutes and washing it is going to save you a whole bunch of time. It usually has a lot better result. One thing you need to think about as well is in the cleaners and degreasers, if you let it sit on the motorcycle too long, some of them can end up etching the aluminum. So it's a fine line between soaking for a minute and two or letting the sun bake it on. As the bike's soaking down and the degreasers are in place, I fill a wash bucket with some simple car wash soap that I use to keep the brushes wet throughout the washing process. As far as tools for the job, I really only use 3 brushes. One big soft brush that does the majority of the bodywork seat and larger body panels up top. A standard scrub brush for most of the wheels, hubs, and larger engine components that I can get in and around. And a smaller, not quite toothbrush size, stiff bristle brush for breaking down grease and grime that I can't reach with either of those. After the bike has had a minute to soak, I chase the excess dirt off from top to bottom with a pressure washer. Now that the bike has the excess dirt knocked off, I chase another lap around with the degreasers. So from this point in time, sometimes I lay the bike on its side to get a better look at the bottom. Now it's time to get scrubbing. Starting with the low-hanging fruit and the big body panels, I take the big brush and knock off all the main areas that I can see. This is mainly just done with the soapy water in the bucket, but for the most part, this is the easiest part of the job. After you take care of the big areas, it's time to break out the scrub brush. The scrub brush does a lot of work, but it's in company with the degreaser. So you're able to chase around the cylinder, countershaft sprocket, chain line, brake calipers, all of the areas that, when in use, end up creating the grime. This particular CR hadn't seen degreaser in years and needed some extra love. It was something I had to break out a little bit more aggressive cleaner than I normally work with, but I ended up running Purple Power straight up along with an accompanied turbo nozzle on the pressure washer to break down some of that carbon. That's not something I would normally recommend, but considering that the motorcycle was going to get taken apart completely the same evening, I wasn't too worried about the water getting past the seals. Once back up on the stand, give it a quick inspection to see if you missed anything with the degreaser. This is the time to touch on a couple of those hard to reach places if you need to before a final spray down. This is where all the hard work gets to shine through. Washing from top to bottom and focusing on any detail areas that need it. Most of the cleaning should be done and you're just washing the soap away, looking at what should be the cleanest bike you've seen in a minute.